I'm Alex, I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Wheel Barcelona. Just to brief you a bit on who is Wheel Barcelona. So Wheel Barcelona is right now the current center of excellence of tech and data on MENA, and we're holding the biggest Drupal hub across the network. That said, Farhan, all yours.
Okay, so let's start. Today we wanted to explain a business need that we identify in our team and how with the help of Ogilvy we ideate and develop it. Later, Alex will explain the technical keys of this project, reviewing what is exactly the SiteBuilder tool. He will do a quick demo to understand how it looks and works, and also we'll talk about all the backend processes. At the end, if we are on time, we will show you a live site created with this tool, and obviously we will give you some time for any questions. So if you have any doubt or question during the session, feel free to put it there on the chat and we will reply them at the end of the session. Okay, so to start and just to give you a bit of context, I think it's important for you to know that at Nestlé we have our own Drupal distribution, which we call Linus. But by the way, if you want to know more about Linus, I strongly recommend you to join just after this talk to the session of my colleague Antonella Severo, where she will talk about Linus. So with this distribution, what we are trying to do is standardize all the Nestlé brand website, but we know that at the end, it serves as a starting point for all the Nestlé brand website, but obviously this distribution is not a final website, and it always needs development on top of that to be able to satisfy the needs of the markets or the brands. That is why even having Linus, normally all the web projects have 3 points that cause, let's say, complaints or problems to the different market brands or site owners. And these 3 problems are first the final cost, and then the development time needed before the go live, and the security control that we need to pass before the going live. So knowing these 3 main problems and with the good attitude to improve our product and the feeling of the market, we ask ourselves this long question, that it's how might we help marketing and brand manager to get a cheap, fast, user-friendly and customizable brand and promotional website without code development. At this point, we started an internal phase of ideation and inspiration to find a technological solution that allow us to answer this question. The first thing we did was ask ourselves how iteratively we could solve these 3 problems that I just explained to you, and from there we will start the ideation of the final product. So for the cost, we saw that the solution was to eliminate the custom development and maximize the use of all the options that we already have in Linus, our distribution. For the time, we thought about automating the creation process as much as possible through a tool or a wizard that would be usable for all the Nestlé employees. And at the end, in order to reduce the time to have the security approval to go live, we thought about pre-scanning all the components and design elements with the purpose, again, of not needing another security scan before going live. So then based on this, we define like 5 pillars that all the created sites should have. The first of all, a pre-designed theme with some user customization at the front-end level, you will see later. The second point is to define some basic templates or pages with sample content there. For example, we have defined a home page, a contact page, and all these pages have their own components and their own structure. Then we wanted to use all the connections that with the integrations that we already have in Linus, like SAP Gigia, with Bina, with GTM, Epidon, Engage, etc. As I said, the site needs to be clean for security, And the last point is that the site needs to be content ready. What we mean with content ready is that once the site is created, the only pending task before the go live will be to upload the real content. So then, finally, to achieve this, what we imagined was to create a wizard that allowed the user to follow a series of configuration steps to put together liners to take advantage of all its strengths and capabilities, plus a pre-designed theme, plus the desired configuration by the user. So this tool will also deploy this site to one of our compliant hosting solution. And as a result, we will have a site without any development and with lorem ipsum content there. Once the site is created, the only pending work will be the site building stuff and the content update. And finally, once this is ready, we just need to go live, changing the DNS. So at the end, once we had this, we had a clear idea of what and how we wanted to achieve this. We started working with Ogilvy to create the tool, and now Alex will explain to you how it's actually turned out these crazy ideas into reality. So Alex, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Ferran. So the first thing that we got was the name of the tool. The name is SiteBuilder, as per the title of the presentation. That said, I'll give you a brief explanation on what the SiteBuilder is. So we can see here a very basic graphic on how the SiteBuilder is, but on what the SiteBuilder is composed of. We see that the SiteBuilder is a Drupal 9 platform tool, so it's been built in Drupal 9. And it's connected to different set of themes, profiles, base repositories. As well, it has a connection to different set of hostings and all this in order to create your own customized site. This is very theoretic, but if we go a bit further in, the SiteBuilder itself, this is the homepage of the SiteBuilder. It's divided into two big sections that we see here on the screen. So these two sections are brand style and site. Brand style itself, it's where the marketeers, the non-technical people, can design their own site. So here they can change the logo, the favicon, the fonts, the colors of the site, and a large, etc. That we will now look into a bit more in detail. And on the other side of the SiteBuilder, we have the site itself, where we define all what it's the configuration itself of the site. So all the modules that needs to be installed, all the pages that will compose our site, etc. So that's it. And as we think that the visual explanation is better than anything, we jump right away into the demo. So I'll just jump in onto the site. So we have here the production site that we have for the SiteBuilder. I'll log in as administrator for the sake of being able to see the ins and outs of the tool. And once we log into the application, we see the screen that we were seeing, the clear distinction between brand style and sites. But before jumping onto the forms itself, it's going through the menu. By clicking onto brand styles, we can see a list of all the brand styles that have been created here. Obviously, all the ones that I have access on. Being administrator, I do have access on all of them. But if not, either way, I can always just look for the brand that suits me, so the brand that I'm assigned to, or for the name of my brand style, and so I can find my created brand style as fast as possible. Apart from this, as we previously said, we have the sites section. On the site sections, we have a list of all the sites that have been created with the SiteBuilder. So here we have a list of the sites with the status of the site itself. So if it's been completed, then this is an hyperlink that allows me to open the site. So for instance, I could open this site, though I don't have right now these credentials, but we will go later a bit more in detail onto these specifics of the site with a created site. Apart from this, we have a tab for resources. We can have a quick look into it, but there's not much into it. It's just information on how to create, how to use a site builder, etc. So, without further ado, we will jump into the form itself. So we will start by creating our own design. So we'll create our own design, and we'll place the first thing that we're prompt to fill in. It's the name, Drupal conf event, and the description. This is for categorization purposes, and for later on being able to find your own branches. So Drupal conf event as well. The next section that we're prompted is the brand that this brand style will be associated to. In this case, we just place multi-business for the purpose, and keywords that will help us as well to find our brand style when we are searching for it. So DrupalCon again. Then upon jumping onto the next page, we can see already that the layout has changed a bit. Here on the right screen, we have a sample of how our site will look like. And on the left, we continue having the different set of actions that we need to fill in. So I can just come back, see that we are on images, but or just go back onto the details. But basically, from this point onwards, we do have here a preview of the site. And on the left corner, we do have all the forms that we need to fill in. So I'll just place a logo. And at the moment that I upload the logo, I can see already how my logo will look like on the newly created site. Then I upload the favicon. Obviously, the favicon right now here it's not visible because it's not something that it's visible on the homepage. The favicon has been renamed because obviously I've uploaded the favicon.ego many times. But in any case, just going on to the next step, we can see the color. So the first thing that we're prompt to fill in is the color of my brand. So I have here a color picker, and I can say, so as we are talking about Drupal, let's play a more bluish color. Now you can see that this line here already changed, but most of the site still remains with the same color that it was before. So for changing the rest of the colors, we have the advanced palette options, and we can go and change the different sections of the site. So we have, for instance, the mild color. We can place it on red, and we can see that here there's already a few changes that are noticeable. Once changing the dark color, let's say orange, we can see that titles, copies, and other, links, and there's many other stuff that has been already changed, such as the arrows here. Detail color as well, we see some changes, and background color as well, we will see some changes upon applying. So let's just keep it black. But in the case that the marketeer person who is creating this has the same style sense as I do have right now and creates this rainbow array of colors that doesn't make sense to go one with another one, we have this button here to help these marketers in order to generate colors that match your main color. So by clicking on generate the palette, all the advanced color options are already filling based on your main selection. So you just need to know the main color for your brand, and you can already let the site builder to decide the rest of the colors for your site. We go into the next section, and here we're prompt to change all the text. So the first thing that we're prompt to change is the heading, so all the H1s that will be displayed on the site. So here, for instance, I can change the color to gray or white in order to be visible with this background. I can change the font family to any other. We have here the Google fonts all plugged in. Let's just leave it how it is. Then we have as well the font style, the size of the font. So I can change it to 39 pixel, 31, the size that it suits me better. So in this case, I'll just leave it at 44. And we have here more font options, such as if we want this to be italic or we want the whole text to be completely on capital letters for all the headings. After we fill in all the headings information, we're prompted to fill in all the titles information. By titles, we mean the titles of all the paragraphs that are set on our page. So the first thing that we see is that there's not one but two colors. The second color is because we have two variants of paragraphs. One that is using the light background and one that is using the dark background. So basically, by switching the color, we are switching the color title for the second variant paragraphs. The rest of the options are the same. We can switch if we want it bold, if we want it underlined, or if we want it, or however we want it. So after this, we have the last option, which is the body. For the body, we do not have the advanced options, obviously, because it wouldn't make sense to have all the bold text on your site in capital letters or underline or any other great idea that the marketer might have. So the first thing that we have here is the color, so we can switch the color of our body. The font family, in case that we want a different font family, as we have here, we have Roboto for the body and DM Sans for the rest, and obviously the size and if we want this font to be Italian. Well, this is all the font options that comes with the Google font itself. After completing this, we prompt to fill in the header and footer, and by header and footer, we mean we can change the background color. So for instance, if I come here and I change my background color to be white because I didn't upload a transparent image, so I'll just need to go with white. And as well, for all the links that are placed on our header, we have the same options that we've seen before. So we do have these options for header and footer. On footer, we have exactly the same. Have the background color and the color of the links, and the rest of the options for the font styles. On the next section, we are able to define how do we want the buttons to look like. You can see that all the variables are already filled in, looking with the previous variables that we set up colors. So basically, this is already prearranged to use one of the 5 variables that it's matching what we want to achieve, but it's just but it's open in case of the marketer says that their buttons need to be way darker and have the font to be in red because it's what they want. We can change the background color, the border type, if we want the border itself to be, well, how much rounded the corners we want of the button. Then we have the same options for the font that is, it hurts me a bit to say it like that, but just leave it like this. We have the same options that we've seen before for the different text, but this is just referencing the text that it's inside the button. We can change as well which is the font and background color for the font and background color for the hover style. So for instance, if I want my font style to change when I'm on hover, so I'll just put another color and that will be it. The same for the background color when you're on top, border type, and the different states that we have here selected. So we have the disabled style and the preset style that you can modify through the style page. On the next page, we're here just setting up the permissions. So now that I'm creating this brand style, I want to either do it public so everyone can see it, or I can make it visible just for my group. My group means my brand, so the brand that is associated to my user. As we can see here on my consumer, I am associated to all the brands. So basically, placing my group and public would be the same because I have all the brands associated to the administrator user. In this case, we can place it just for me. And the last step is just to review that everything that you fill in is exactly as you wished. So we have here a summary with the favicon that we deployed, the logo, all the colors, the font styles for the headings, the titles, and the body. The same for the header and the footer with the background and the font style and the button. So basically, the whole array of options that we've gone through the whole font. So after we verify that this is okay and looking how we wish, we just need to save, and we have here our new DrupalCon event brand style just created that it's not used on any site. So what we need to do right now is just go and create one site that is using this specific brand style. So just going to create a new site. We can just go ahead with the same namings on event. Here we can select the market. So basically, this is the country that this site will be referring to, and this is an internal identifier for Nestle. So just put DrupalCon 001 and more specific information for the site owners itself. On the next section, we already are prompt to define, so which brand style do we want to place in. So I'll just select the one that we've just created, and which theme. So as I was previously saying, the site builder itself is connected to a set of profiles, themes, page repositories, as well as costumes. And the first option that we have here is the theme. So right now we have just one theme available at this platform, but we could potentially have as many as we wish. Here we select the theme that we want to apply for this specific site. After this, we need to set up all the configuration of our site. So the first thing is the language. Let's just place English. And in the case that I want my site to be multi-language, so I can just go and say that I want my site to be Spanish and I want my site as well to be in Catalan. After this, we need to select the time zone. So here, I'll just Bogota, why not? And the date format. This is all the configuration of the site. And after the basic configuration of the site, what we need to fill in is all the integrations that we for our site. The first integration that we prompt is GTM. It's mandatory. It's not something that I can choose to have or not to have. So I'll just fill in some dummy data. And here we have a different set of integrations. So this is the integrations that we have right now available. In the case that we would wish to have ratings and reviews on our site, we just need to add the integration. And then here we need to fill in which provider do we want. If we would select Buzzer Voice, we would have to fill in more data in order to be able to connect with Buzzer Voice. But for the sake of this demo, we'll just go ahead with the Drupal ratings and reviews. And we could do the same with the rest of the options. So for instance, by now we have different providers, have a demo, Shopify, Price Spider, and updated by one. The same we have for Engage. I just could add all the integrations that we have available, or I could just say, look, I don't want Adimo, and that's it. So on the next page, here we are prompt to select which profile. This is the same as I was saying with the theme. So right now here, we need to select which of the profiles we will be using for this theme. We have two profiles here, one which is automatic. You just go with this, and then a predefined set of pages and content is being created. Or you just can go with full site, and you can see here more in detail. So which pages do you want, and what options do you want for your site? You can say that you don't want the language switcher, though you placed 3 languages. Or you could say that you want a product list, as I place ratings and reviews under the integrations. Here, if I want to display the ratings and reviews here, just in case I don't want actually ratings and reviews for article, I just want it for product. We would just go like this, and this is the set of pages that have been set up with the full content to be visible. So I can here select all the pages that will be created with my site. After this, we'll just go on to the next section. And we see the other section that we saw that we have under connection. So we have the host. You see here that we have Pantheon hosting available at production level. Upon selecting that we want Pantheon, we do have here the region settings. So this is all the options that Pantheon itself allow us to decide. So for this site in particular, we will just say that we want this site on the European Union. We want an HTTPS protection for this site by default. And this protection to be Drupal cron, so later I can remember and access fast. So going on to the next step, what we see here, it's the user management. By default, it creates a set of users that you can configure through the site itself. But as we don't want to bother a lot of people with the creation of this site, I'll just take them out, all of them. The owner is basically the email associated to this user. So I'll just add myself as well. And I said that I want to be an administrator on this newly created site. After this, the only thing that we are missing is to create the site itself. So we have this prompt here to know that this process itself takes 20 to 30 minutes. So to be aware that it will take some time. But in case, we'll just create the site. And once we click on build, we see here all the steps. So right now we are in progress. For instance, we have here a site that has been completed, and we can see here an example of how much time it takes to create a site and divide it through all the steps that goes through the site builder. So that said, just to explain you a bit further how these connections are built, and when we said that you can connect to multiple themes and multiple brand styles, so how would you connect a different brands, a different theme or a different profile? So you just need to go into the administration, open themes or profiles, or even both of them. Come up here and you can just add another profile. And the only thing that you need to fill is the name and obviously the repository URL that we'll need to use to download this profile. Here we have the two types of profile, as we've seen before. We have the type that we have a profile that installs a predefined set of pages and content, or we have the profile that it's modular, which is the one that we use to create our site. And we need to define here if the one that we're uploading here, it will be one or the other type. So for instance, if we go into the molecular, which is the file that we used, we just have here the Git repository, the type of the profile, and the name of the that will be displayed during the site creation process. The same happens with themes. As we've previously seen, we just have one theme available at the moment, but we just need to click in on a label to later identify our created theme, and as well to upload the repository URL and the theme type, because in the case that this is a SaaS theme, we will obviously need to compile all the styles before deploying the site. So that said, let's see how this is. So this right now it's on step line is finish. Right now it's downloading. If we wait a bit more, maybe later, but in any case, we can jump in and see what we have in work in progress. We see here that as I said on the presentation, we have Pantheon and Platform SH. This is something that we're working on staging. So I'll just open staging for a moment. And if we go on to staging, we see already two big changes. And it's that we're not just creating CMS anymore, but we're working on to create as well e-commerce. We're on the final stages to be able to create a Magento site using the site builder, going through the same process that we've gone to create a CMS, but we would just need to go through different fields because Magento has different configurations, but basically, this is what we have here. So if we see here, we do not just have the CMS, we do have as well the e-commerce with its own set of themes. And if we go here onto hosting, we can see that we have that in Pantheon, Platform Sage and Pantheon available. So I think that this summarizes pretty well what the site builder is and how it works. Let me see if this has arrived into in which state it is. So no, it's still on the theme step. So we will just jump back onto the presentation to explain you a bit more in detail how the process of creation goes in, and after completion, we'll jump back here again if we have time, just to see if our site is already visible on Pantheon and what are the tasks that are left for our site to be already created. So without further ado, just go into the presentation back and we'll go through the site creation process. So right now, the site builder, what it's doing, because it's doing it right now. To prepare the code base, we need to download, well, we need to clone all the repositories, the Drupal base repository that we've selected, the profile, the theme, and override all the variables of the theme with all the selection that we've done on our brand style. On the second step, what we'll do is all the config files. So here we need to generate all the config files to know for the site to know that this needs to be in English, Spanish, and Catalan, my newly created site, and which content will have my site, etc., etc., etc. So basically, it's to define all the configuration that the new site will have. The next step, we have integrations. Integrations itself are built as plugins. Plugins are divided into two different main tasks. So the two different main tasks is configuration and generator. On configurations, basically, this is all we need to store all the information that this integration requires in order to run. As we've seen for GTM, for instance, we just have the GTM ID. But if we place Bazaar Voice as ratings and reviews, we saw that we had other fields. So basically, on each integration, we need to define which fields are required for the integration to work. And apart from this, obviously, we need the plugin itself to generate the needed configuration for this integration, not just to work, but to be installed and to be placed in the right side of our newly created site. After this, as we already have all our variables and all our code prepared, we just need to generate the artifact using BLT. In the case that the theme that we're using is SAS, we would need as well to compile all the SAS files. After we already have generated the artifact, at this moment we already have the site created. We already have all the configuration files and all the site created locally on the same hosting that the site builder is placed. So the only thing that we need to do is move it from there to the hosting solution that we have chosen during the site creation process. So for the hostings are managed very similarly as integrations. The hostings itself are built with plugins, and each hosting has its own dedicated plugin. Instead of two main tasks, the hosting plugins are divided into three main tasks. The first one is very similar to what we previously seen, which is to store all the information that the hosting itself requires for the deployment. Then the second, the generator, this is a bit different, but basically it's in order to create the site into this hosting solution. And the third one, once you have the environment, the environment in your hosting solution, what you need to do, obviously, is install the Drupal site. So here on the next slide, we can have a more precise look on what are the commands that needs to be run in the case of Pantheon, which was our pilot hosting, as you've seen on production against staging. So that said, I don't know if we have much time to go back onto the site, but I'll just steal you for a couple of minutes. Sorry for that. Let's see how our progress is. So we see here that it's already on deploy because configs it's already finished. So if we go into Pantheon and we search for our site, just go into Pantheon and search for a site, so we can see that our site has been already created and it's going through different tasks. I mean, if this wants to a bit faster, that would be very appreciated, as we don't have much time. It seems that right now it doesn't want to load. So, and as we are very cautious of the time that we have remaining, I'll just give it back to Ferran. But basically this right now it's on Pantheon, and it's currently deploying the site and creating and importing all the configurations, etc. So all the steps that we've seen on the previous slides. So coming back onto the presentation, we will just hand over to Ferran so he can explain you a live case that is already live with and built with this tool.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Alex. So, yeah, exactly. Finally, we wanted to share with you the first success story of this new product. Yeah, just to give you a bit of summary of the story. At the beginning of this year, at Nestle, a new brand was born. It was Gunda, and Gunda is a new plant-based and startup mindset brand. And with this spirit of a startup, they were looking for a quick and economical solution to be online as soon as possible, due to some marketing campaigns planned. So obviously, this business need was one of the gaps that we wanted to fill. So at the end, Wunda was the perfect candidate to use as a pilot. And yeah, at the end, we did it. Here you can see how it looks. The site is already live, and you can see all the site on mygunda.com. It was the pilot, but I think we can probably say that everyone involved in the project is very happy with the final result. As I said, this was the first one. We launched the site in May, and we currently have 4 or 5 sites live, and more than 10 on the pipeline. So yeah, I think that's all. Maybe as a conclusion, we can say that we are very proud of this new product, and that is having a very positive impact in the company. And we are keep working on the project to try to include more functionalities and user-friendly capabilities on the tool, just to cover as much use cases as we can. And yeah, finally, we also wanted to take this opportunity to publicly thank all the web CMS team in Slack and all the will be Barcelona team for the great work done on this project. And now, yeah, I think we have 5 minutes or less for questions. So if anyone has some questions, not sure if we have questions in the QA, not yet. So I don't know. If anyone has some question, yeah, feel free to put it in the QA. If not, Alex, if you want to use this minute to show the Pantheon. Okay, if not, I think we'll have questions. Okay, then if not, yeah, I think we can leave it here. Thanks again for joining, and if you have any question or doubt, yeah, feel free to ping us offline. So thanks a lot, and have a nice DrupalCon.